Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I was driving down to downtown Columbus tonight. Snow, sleet. This morning, it was so cold that nose hairs would freeze when you walked outside. Now,
that might be too much information.
Well, hold on a second. Now, that's my favorite kind of cold. I feel like as an Ohio boy, northern Ohio boy, that when it's so cold that your nose hairs freeze, that's the good stuff. Now, the wind, no thank you.
Oops.
The sleet, the people driving 15 miles an hour on the freeway, I'm not a fan of any of that. But frozen nose hairs, I'll take it.
You can have it.
All right, fair enough. Now, the whole point of that story was we're drinking something tonight on episode 3 of Closets and Cocktails that should give us a little summer spirit, I think.
It should. It should. Lemon drop martinis. If you didn't guess, cheers. We should cheers first. It's a group effort. I had to bring these in.
Yeah.
Because a neighbor came up from South Carolina and picked these lemons off of her tree and brought them up here, gave me a few. So I knew our drink of the day was lemon drop martinis.
When neighbors give you lemons,
you make lemonade. Lemon drop martinis.
There you go. That's more important. And delicious.
They are good.
The pool boy did a good job with these this time.
But the recipe came from another neighbor in the building.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So it's a community effort.
I like it. Very good. Very good. So we've been through a couple iterations of this now. I think you said we needed to pay more attention to the drinks.
A little rise above moonshine, apple pie moonshine.
Yeah. Well, there's no apple pie moonshine left anymore. So maybe that was at the end of a long day or something like that. But yeah, it's all gone now. So yes, but this is a couple steps up.
It's good.
So yeah, it is good.
So far, we've hit them. We've hit good ones.
Yeah, it was espresso martini, right? And then you did White Russians.
I did White Russian.
When you were in upstate New York, and now we're moving on to lemon drops.
And it is funny because you don't think of lemon drops when it's snowing out.
No. But we got some snow around the edge here.
We do.
Right?
That makes it good.
And if anybody has suggestions on what the next drink of the day should be, you can just reach out to us at any point in time and comment on it so we can make it even more of a community effort.
That is right.
Okay. So we're going to move on to the first part, closets and cocktails. We paid maybe a little bit too much attention to the cocktails first. Anyway, so let's pay attention to the closet part. We spent both episodes so far talking about home offices, and we probably are spending too much time in our home offices at this point. And I think you had mentioned this about Lindsay, and I can definitely tell you it's true about me. I felt like I was standing in the same spot for 10 months. Behind a stand-up desk, and so trying to get the feel and the dynamic of how do we make this space work for us. So now, one of the things that we've actually been tracking and we've had some interest on recently has been pantries.
Okay.
And so we are standing in the pantry at the showroom here today, and I think some of the same themes are going to show going from office to pantry.
The same theme with any spot in your house. It's sorting, it's keeping what you love and what you use, it's letting go of the rest. So it's the same thing.
Okay. And so what we wanted to do was first, I'm going to go grab the cameras and we're going to do a little tour from back to front, because I also noticed there's zones in here too.
There are. We created our pantry and laundry room we put together. And so we do have we have cleaning stuff, we have paper stuff. Didn't want to put our office paper stuff in the guest bedroom. So we brought it into the laundry room.
Okay.
It works well for us.
So even though this is big for a pantry, it's really serving the purposes of maybe 2 or 3 different rooms.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So let's do this. It hurts me to do this, but I'm going to put down my lemon drop right now, and we're going to go on a quick tour, and then you can see the different zones, and then we'll have a little bit of a discussion on how we use them to help us on a day-to-day basis. All right. So excuse me as I walk towards the phone. Well, okay.
Do you want things open?
Yeah, if you want to. I mean, it's your showroom, so it's...
So, cleaning, but it's all behind a closed door, so it looks good. But I know, and up there at the top, I don't know if you can see, I've got labels, vacuum, extension cords, some oversized serving pieces, and then this is our makeshift office. We hold the paper. We don't work in here, but we hold the paper in here.
What, can I ask why that's important? Why you hold the paper in here but don't work in here?
Because not good light, not good space. We come and get it. We take it out to the desk or the island.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, you gather the stuff that you don't use that often, but you need. So I love things to have a coordinated look. Felt pads, label tape, Post-its, binoculars. Everything's labeled, so it helps when you've got multiple people using the space. They know where to get things and where to get it, where to put things back. So laundry. So this really, the beginning of this room is our pantry, where we have food, and we have the oversized pans, the vertical storage, and some serving pieces. This is the thing I love with pantries, to have some vertical storage. There's never enough in a kitchen for like the cookie sheets, the baking pans, oversized trays. So I love to put this in a pantry, so you have a spot just for it. We use tubs to sort, just like you do anywhere else. Crackers, healthy snacks, chips, not so healthy, on down. I do like to put my food in storage containers. Makes it really coordinated look. The biggest thing I could say about pantries is that pantries used to serve a different purpose. You didn't get to go to the store that often. You had to make a list. You had to wait. You go once a week maybe. Now we can get things delivered in 2 hours sometimes. So, and their stores open 24 hours a day. So my biggest thing with a pantry is, like, if you have 3 bottles of ketchup in your pantry, give 2 to a food bank. You don't need as much in the pantry as you used to. Containers that are for specific things are handy. I mean, we drink 3 different kinds of pop, or I drink 1 and we have 2 for guests. Little containers that when the granddaughter comes, she knows this is her snack container. Just mac and cheese, because that is a mainstay. Another thing that's good in a pantry is a Lazy Susan. Because if you have deep shelves, the one thing, I like shallow shelves in a pantry, maybe 12 inches, 14 at the most. You get deeper than that and things get lost. And then you are eating and buying from this front row. So a Lazy Susan brings the back to the front. So it's a good handy tool in a pantry. And then, long bins that reach all the way to the back. And labels, again. So if you have different family members, they know what's there. It's easy to grab. But again, just don't keep as much as you used to.
I think that's what people struggle with the most.
Absolutely.
Or keeping things that you don't necessarily need. So, go ahead.
If you normally go to the grocery store once a week, you don't have to have 4 weeks or 3 weeks worth of soup on the shelf.
Well, then Costco would go out of business.
It's not a bargain if you buy it and it gets shoved in the back,
Yeah.
and then when you find it, it's expired.
So I'm gonna make a comment here. There's nothing on the floor.
No.
Nothing. And I have a very strong inclination that it doesn't really matter what day of the week it is, what time of year it is. There's not going to be anything on the floor in here.
Most of the time, no.
Okay.
I mean, life gets busy, and every once in a while, you'd come in and you'd see a mess. But if you're organized and you have a place for everything, it all goes back very fast.
So one of the things that I notice is that when my kids walk into the house, they have a set of hooks on the left side where backpacks and coats and things can go. But I usually find rando stuff thrown on the laundry room floor, which is just on the other side, right? Like, kid, the hook is right there. Could you just please use it, right? So, but I think it's more mental, maybe, or more emotional, where these drop zones that we keep referring back to. Any tips on not letting the pantry, and even from the standpoint of food, right? I mean, how do you be intentional with keeping food where it should be?
Well, I think labels help, because sometimes if you don't have labels, one person who has organized it knows just where everything goes, but the rest of the family doesn't. And it's not like they're trying to put things back intentionally in the wrong spot. They just don't know. So if you have labels, that helps. And then make it easy. Like if you have a coat for a hook, but they're not using it, there's a reason why.
Mm-hmm.
Can you put the hooks in the laundry room instead of to the left? I don't know. You just have to look at what they're doing. And you have to make sure they know you value the time it takes to put it away, that you value the organization. And it's certainly easier the next morning to find your coat if you put it away the right place.
Well, I think you hit the sticking point. Is they don't value my need to be more organized than them.
It will come.
Well,
but you gotta just make it super easy and make it so it naturally works with what they normally do.
Actually, we started talking about pantries. We kind of veered off into the psychology of organizing and things like that. But I do think it generally comes back to what you've said, is you have to make the space work for you. Like it doesn't necessarily matter how big or small the space is, what room it's for, but it has to work for the purpose of what you need it to.
Yeah.
Your life.
And the more, if you put organizational systems in place, the more you can work with your natural habits, the more success you're going to have.
Okay.
So, like if you come in and you throw your shoe, you take your shoes off and you throw them on the floor, that's what you want to do. Mm-hmm. So maybe you just have a boot tray that's on a shoe tray on the floor.
Okay.
If you like things up and nothing on the floor, then you have to have a space for the shoes that are up.
Okay, so let's talk about the vertical part of this, right? I know I've heard you say horizontal spaces, right? That those are good. We need more of those. But I look in here and it's probably 9 feet tall, and
probably.
And we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have at least 4 shelving units to be able to go up. Is that something that people just forget about, or is it?
They do. A lot of wasted wall space in the house. So if you're maxing out and you need to find storage, a lot of times you want to look at that vertical space. Over the door shoe holders, you can use them anywhere. They don't have to go over the door. You can affix them to a flat wall, and they can go in any room of the house. At the front door when you're entering, the hats, gloves, mittens, and then you can even break it down. So the little ones in the house get the lower level. Adults get the higher level. But then you got to give them time to put their stuff away. Like when everybody's rushing in, and they pass those hooks or they pass that spot, then you have to say, wait, come back.
Yeah. Especially if one brother is right there, and feelings could get hurt really quickly somebody's taking too long. But so I talked about going up, but you said bringing it down as well to see how that space is going to be used. And you use the example of macaroni and cheese and snacks. I also think, if you go in our house, the main pantry cupboard area, everything dog related is on the bottom level, and it's that's just kind of been the dedicated spot. But as you go up, we have 2 kids that are gluten free, have celiac, so everything is separate, and everybody knows that that's a separate area up there.
Very important.
And that goes back to, it can't just be the way that one person designed it. Everybody has to understand and be able to reflect on it.
Yeah, and that's where the labels help. And even if you have somebody too little for labels, it's you can get creative with that. Have take a package and glue onto the front so that they can see the package, not if they can't read the words.
Okay. All right, that makes sense. Okay, how's your drink going?
It's good.
Yeah, it is very good. So the last thing I would ask about your space here is, it's bigger. How much time do you think you spend in here? Or how much time do you want to spend in here? Maybe that's a better way to say it.
I don't come in here for any extended period of time, but I come in here continually through the day when I'm home, grabbing things, keeping laundry running in the background. You need a light bulb, that's where it is. Extra paper products. So I come in here a lot.
Okay.
And I like how it looks. So
I think the reason I asked that question is, we've talked about offices, how people spend a lot of time in their office. I'm sure we'll get to master closets and things like that in the future as well. But it almost feels like this room, this destination, serves a efficiency standpoint. It's not. I mean, yes, it looks great in here, but it's not meant for that main purpose. It's meant to be able to find what you need when you need it. Function.
Yeah, being organized doesn't mean having it look beautiful or look a certain way. It's just being able to find what you want when you want it. That's it.
Okay. I like it.
And circling back to the pantry, I think the biggest takeaway is don't have too much. And from front to back, it needs to be the same thing. So because if you don't, what's in the back is going to get lost. Mm-hmm. So if it's soups, front to back, think about how a grocery store is laid out. And that's really how you can mimic a pantry. Because if you go to the grocery store and you want to buy a pack of chocolate chips, you go to the baking aisle.
Yeah. So
in your pantry, you have a baking shelf. And it just depends on the space you have. But there is no need to have 3 ketchup bottles.
Yeah.
Anymore.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that you first pointed out was the big bakeware back here. Mm-hmm. Now, I also imagine that that's family as well. Mm-hmm. So when you talk about holding on to things that you want to hold on to, I mean, those 2 things take up a shelf by themselves.
They do.
And there's probably some emotional tie to those as well.
Absolutely.
Okay. And those that's allowed. We're not telling people to get rid of their things.
And you know what? I've got 2 cake plates. I don't use either of them very often. But this one was my mom's. And she had lots of Fostoria. And this was the one piece that was important to me. So I brought it home from Florida. And I don't care if I use it, once every 2 years.
Yeah.
I can come in here and enjoy looking at it.
Yeah. That's a really important part. We probably buried the lead on that one a little bit too much.
Yeah, probably. I'm not saying get rid of everything.
Yeah. Okay.
It makes me smile.
I like it. That's good too. Especially in a place that's more function related, not necessarily out in the open.
Yep.
Okay.
But as you can see, I've magnet boards.
Yeah, definitely a lot of accessories and things like that in here too. Would you call them accessories?
I would.
I like the hanging area back here.
Yep, and that's all IKEA. They do a good job of utilizing a small space. But and as you can tell, I filled all the walls in here.
Well, I mean, I think that as we've talked about all these different things, we need to go back to the fact that it's really 3 separate rooms condensed into one space. Not condensed into one room necessarily, but condensed into one space. And so when you say that you have accessories back here, but you really have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You have 9 different areas for things that could take up an entire room. Or you see 3 ketchup bottles. There could be 100 pens in here.
Right.
Instead of the ones that you actually need.
Right.
Okay. Well, very good. Well, Birdie, I'm about to the end of my drink. How are you? Oh, you're already done. This is a theme. I got to hold up my end of the bargain.
I am the
here.
lightweight. Well, maybe you talk more.
Yeah, that could be it too. Okay, so we spent time in offices. We spent time in New York. We spent time in Columbus. We spent time in the pantry. Where we go next is completely up to you guys. If you have questions, if you have ideas, if you have drink ideas, if you want to show off your closet space, then,
we could come to them.
we could tour. This could be a tour.
I like it.
This could be like Rolling Stones tour or something like that. What do you think? No? I think we have our designated driver out there.
Shoot high.
Yeah, we're going to shoot high. We're going to have fun with this. Okay. So thank you from Closets and Cocktails. Thank you from John. Thank you from
Birdie.
And cheers. Enjoy
Cheers.
us, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.